Imagine, if you will, a universe much like our own, but then somewhat different, as if something went a little left of center. These are the tales from the loop, because we can't use Twilight Zone. Today's tale regards a major multinational multi-billion company that has recently been receiving a ton of negative attention. And in response, they claimed they were going to do something today, but then they didn't. Join us now for today's tale from the loop, because we can't use Adelaide and Mr. Twilight Zone. Hello and welcome, fellow fans of the weird! If you have been following the non-stop cascade of bizarreness coming from our friends over at the Wizards of the Coast, you know that another leak was made today. An email is circulating from an individual who claims to be an employee of Wizards of the Coast, but won't give their name. Wizards of the Coast, which has famously not responded in any way, shape, or form since the leak first has made itself available almost, now 2 weeks? In fact, the only announcement we've come from was when D&D Beyond announced that we should wait and see because they're working on something. Don't call us, we'll call you. Well, today we had an email from this mysterious individual who addressed their concern regarding what Wizards of the Coast is doing to the industry. And in response, Wizards of the Coast claimed they were going to have a live stream at 3 o'clock today. It's 12 p.m. my time and 3 p.m. Seattle time. So it should have started 34 minutes ago. But it didn't. In fact, it completely disappeared from the Wizards of the Coast D&D Beyond Twitch channel, and instead it was replaced by a repeat of previous Twitch things talking about Dragonlance and inclusivity. What happened? Why did they cancel it? No announcement. But we have heard from several reliable sources it is a response to the mass cancelizations and protest letters being sent to D&D Beyond. Remember, all of this nonsense, OGL 1.1, at the focal of it is D&D Beyond. And Hasbro's statement that they were taking Dungeons & Dragons digital. Oh, what? No, they would never do that. Yes, despite the hundreds and thousands of voices who said, OGGM, you do not know what the beep you're talking about. Hasbro would never do that. I have consistently said this is what Hasbro is going to do. Well, Hasbro did it. They have been saying this is what we're going to do. The key to this pyramid is D&D Beyond, and the D&D Beyond revenue and the monetization, merchandising, complete digital control of Dungeons & Dragons through D&D Beyond and through the Dungeons & Dragons exclusive virtual tabletop, which still, as I know of, does not exist. Again, has anybody seen any news regarding the digital virtual tabletop for D&D other than what we saw at San Diego Comic-Con last August? If they have, please let me know. I haven't seen a thing. The industry is in uproar. Everybody and their dog has responded. The cancelizations of D&D Beyond are in an uproar. I have just been informed that both Nerd Immersion and Genie D have canceled their D&D Beyond subscriptions and come forward in solidarity with this Don't Do This D&D movement. I'm not surprised that Genie D did this. A lot of her revenue relies on cosplay and songs inspired by Dungeons & Dragons. And it says in the OGL, they're going after D&D cosplay and D&D songs. That's all Genie's fans. That's all the Critical Role fans. And that's Genie herself. So, when they announced OGL, Genie said, I'm done. And nobody believed it. But if you look, she hasn't posted anything on her site in a while. She came out and said, she was against the choices that Wizards of the Coast was making earlier this year. I mean, last year, she said, the changes to initiative, the changes to criticals. I mean, the very beginning of the stuff that they were announcing, Genie said, I can't get behind this. And people were like, and I was like, wow, I'm surprised, but no, not really. So now Nerd Immersion has claimed they're done with D&D Beyond. Genie D apparently done with D&D Beyond. D&D Beyond has received multiple I'm canceling. I sent them a very nasty letter saying I'm canceling. Not that I ever had it, but they don't know that. And that I was boycotting them. So their numbers are down, apparently. So there was supposed to be a thing today, and it got canceled. There is nothing on the D&D Twitch right now, or the D&D Beyond Twitch, instead of repeats of stuff they've already showed. This tale from the loop continues in just a moment. But first, a word from our sponsor, Big Geek Emporium. Hey, don't forget, all my Big Geek Emporium OSR OGL product that I made last year in 2022 is on sale right now on Big Geek Emporium till tomorrow for 35 cents each. It's like 10 adventures that I have written that are now on sale. So get them before they disappear. But don't worry, they'll be back in a brand new form. Now back to Tales from the Loop. Now this falls in response to an email that mysteriously appeared earlier today, which amongst many things basically says, hey, I'm very concerned about the health of the community. I'm going to tell you that nobody at Wizards of the Coast is very excited about this, but this is what Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast corporate shills are saying. 1, they are delaying the OGL due to the backlash. 2, other decision making is based entirely provided by the impact to their bottom line. What? Oh, that comes as a complete surprise. I would never expect a corporation to be concerned with their bottom line and have their decision-making based upon their bottom line. Never! Never in the history of corporate America has a corporation stepped forward and said, you know what? I think we're here to make money for ourselves and our shareholders. So we should be concerned how our actions are impacting our bottom line. So the first, specifically, they are looking at D&D Beyond subscriptions and cancelizations, and it is the quickest financial data they currently have. What? Wait, you mean they can look from one computer to another computer in real time and show them exactly how many cancelizations D&D Beyond has had per minute, as opposed to the several days it would take to compile all the information from all the retailers, from Diamond, from Alignments, from Small Press Publishings, from Drive-Thru, from DM's Guild, to see what their sales has been in Q4? Well, I mean, we could base it upon the percentages of Q3. Let's see, they lost $60 million. Stock was down 46%, went back up 6%. And, they're replacing yet another major member of the staff with another Microsoft person. But yeah, what's the quickest way they can check their numbers? The thing that's literally sitting right next to them that keeps real-time numbers. That should up. Oh my God, that's such a surprise. And finally, they're still hoping that the community forgets, moves on, and they can still push through with this. Wait, what? Wizards of the Coast is considering doing something every other corporation has ever done when things go bad? Throwing up some smoke and mirrors? And then saying, oh, don't look over here. Look over here, it's a puppy. So that's the letter. And based upon this letter, Wizards of the Coast said, we're going to have an announcement. We're going to roll Crawford out of his coffin, wake him up, and say something. And then Crawford would have come out and spoke for 40 minutes about how great the new OGL is, and, how wonderful it is, and how it's all for us, and we're totally misinterpreting. And then, he'd probably talk about for 20 minutes. And then he'd talk another 20 minutes about new stuff coming out from Wizards of the Coast. In fact, he probably would have talked first about new stuff. Before we get into the current situation regarding the OGL leak, let me tell you guys about Keys to the Golden Heist that are coming out. The brand new product we have coming out just a few days from Wizards of the Coast. Ooh, look, it's shiny. It's pretty. It's got this amazing art. It's new. It's different. It's made for 5e, but don't worry, it's not compatible with 6e. So why the point? But look at this. It's got new stuff. Don't pay attention to this. Pay attention to this. This is new. This is pretty. This is amazing. I'm going to talk about it for at least 10 minutes, and then I might address the OGL situation. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the O situation, and you know what? It didn't happen. Yeah, I mean, if you've ever seen a press release ever from a corporation placed in this type of situation, it is usually misdirection, smoke and mirrors, passing the blame, and then downsizing the implications of the situation. I mean, politicians do it, major corporations do it, directors do it, writers do it. It is standard operating procedure when you're in a situation like this. When things go bad, you misdirect. When things go bad, you show them something shiny. Let's use let's use a fake example based loosely on something that real happened. The Sandwich Cove tanker has gone down in Sandwich Cove Bay. Hundreds of sandwiches are flooding the bay. All the animals are getting so fat from eating all the free sandwiches that people are like, oh my God, look at the cute seagull. It's gotten so fat from eating the free sandwiches. And, and Sandwich Cove has two possible ways. They could come forward, they could apologize, they could accept the blame, and they could say these are the steps to what we're doing to address the disaster, the fact that now all these sea lions are well fed. And, or they could first show a commercial where you have a young, scantily clad woman, usually, while there's some kind of soapy music playing behind her, cradling one of the seagulls and gently going, do you want some Coke with your sandwich there, Mr. Seagull? And in the while you'll hear, in the eyes of an angel, the sandwiches are good for you, actually. And then after they distract you with this, they'll get into the, yes, we know there was a major breakage and one of our things broke and the bay is flooded with sandwiches and all the animals in the bay are happily eating. But, that's not what really happened. So we were expecting an announcement today, and I bet money that was, pretty much the announcement we were going to get. Crawford would come out, he'd song and dance us for 10 minutes about keys to the Golden Vault, and then he would address the OGL situation, and he would do it in such a way that at the end of it, we're supposed to feel good about it. Oh, yeah, it isn't that bad. I completely forgot why I'm angry. Look, a puppy. But instead, they cancel it. They completely cancel it, which is kind of unheard of. I mean, it's not 100% unheard of, but, it's unheard of, especially with all the negative attention being posted at them. They should do some damage control, but they're choosing to do nothing. But OGM, that's the exact same thing that Hasbro did with the whole abortion thing a year ago. So what's the difference? There's just as many people upset at them as there is now. Yeah. You could say, well, yeah, you know what? When the abortion thing happened last year, Hasbro didn't say anything. They just said, business as usual. We know where a lot of people are upset. We're not going to say anything. So this could just be more of the same. This could just be, this is their standard operating procedure. Let people say what they want. We're going to continue as normal. And hundreds of people said, we're going to protest Hasbro and protest D&D and protest Wizards of the Coast because of the abortion thing a year ago. And you know what? Within a couple of days, Hasbro's like, we're still here. But yeah, Hasbro, between then and now, you've lost your shareholders a ton of money. And your big cash cow, Magic the Gathering, is under incredible scrutiny. Daily, I see other articles addressing the disaster that Magic has become. And your other major cash cow, Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, has become an eyesore. And this OGL leak, well, you should have gotten, standard operating procedure is to get ahead of the leak, which they haven't done. Now, that's completely unheard of. Even with the abortion thing, they didn't say anything, but insiders said things. Now we've got this, and Hasbro hasn't said word one. No damage control. As a shareholder, I can tell you that the plus 6% our stock went up the other day doesn't matter. When you lost us $60 million, 75 cents doesn't really matter. And that's how much my stock went up. 75 cents per share. So, yeah, if I cashed out now, I'd make like $700. So they canceled it. Now, I'm tossing this out there right now, based upon my general understanding of the way things work in the normal world. We will get the announcement tomorrow around 4 p.m. Around 4 p.m., Twitch will go live on dndbeyond.com. They'll roll out Mercer or Perkins or Todd, and they will talk around 4 p.m. tomorrow, Friday the 13th. Why 4 p.m.? Friday? Well, because in the industry, that's usually when bad news drops. Usually if somebody's going to get fired, it's 4 p.m. on a Friday. Usually if there's a major like, hey, we're closing this store, it's around closing time on a Friday. Why? because the individuals involved have 2 whole days to address damage control, and the store or the company or whatever is, they've got the weekend for that individual to not do anything crazy. We fire you at 4 on Friday, we're pretty sure you're not going to do anything till Monday. So if there is an announcement, if they haven't backpedaled it by now, let's check. Nope, nothing yet. Let's go to their Twitch. Nope, they have nothing scheduled on D&D Beyond till next week.
Refresh.
Let's go to YouTube, see if anybody's commented on it. Nothing. Yeah.
Did you know it's possible for a small business?
Yeah,
owners to
nothing,
get back
nothing.
up to
Roll for Combat was doing it, but I guess.
$26,000 per W-2 employee.
So, yeah. Nothing. We will continue to follow the story as it progresses, or until we get tired of it and talk about something else. I'm the OGGM. If you appreciate this nonsense, let me know. If you don't appreciate these nonsense, let me know. This has been Thursday's episode of Tales from the Loop. The moral of today's tale is nothing is as it appears, and corporations are in fact driven by the need to make money for their product. Tune in to next week's Tales from the Loop, when we release a tale so chilling about the discovery of gravity actually working the way it's supposed to. Tales from the Loop.